Welcome to Sarah Wood's Tale, where stories comes alive. Please do well to hit that subscription button and turn on your notification bell for subsequent stories. Amanda wiped the sweat off her forehead as she hurriedly finished polishing the grand marble floor of the Parker mansion. It had been another long day, and her back ached from hours of endless work. Yet, she refused to complain. Life had never been easy for her, and she had learned to endure hardships with a smile. Amanda had lost her parents at a young age, forcing her to fend for herself in a world that showed little kindness to the poor. She had worked in different homes, doing odd jobs just to survive. But working in the Parker mansion was the most challenging job she had ever taken. Not because of the workload, but because of the woman who ruled the house, Mrs. Patricia Parker. Mrs. Parker was a rich, arrogant woman who treated her servants like they were beneath her. She had a sharp tongue, and her insults could cut through steel. Amanda had been a victim of her harsh words on several occasions. Amanda. Mrs. Parker's voice rang through the air like a whip. Amanda quickly dropped the cloth she was using and hurried to the dining area. Yes, she asked politely, lowering her gaze. Mrs. Parker frowned, looking at her in distaste. I asked for my tea 5 minutes ago. Why is it not here yet? Must I remind you that I do not tolerate laziness? I'm sorry. I will bring it immediately, Amanda said and rushed to the kitchen. The other maids cast her sympathetic glances. They all knew what it was like working under Mrs. Parker, but Amanda had it worse. Perhaps it was because she was beautiful, with striking brown eyes and a soft smile that refused to fade no matter how hard life was. Mrs. Parker seemed to dislike her for reasons unknown. As Amanda prepared the tea, she whispered to herself, "One day, my life will change. I don't know when or how, but I won't be a maid forever." Little did she know, her life was about to change sooner than she expected, in ways she never imagined. Meanwhile, in the private wing of the mansion, Joel Parker sat in his luxurious study, sipping a glass of wine. He scrolled through his phone, checking the latest news articles about himself. As expected, the headlines were all the same. Billionaire heir, Joel Parker, crippled after tragic accident. Once a playboy, now a recluse, Joel Parker's life after the crash. Joel smirked. The media loved a good scandal. They had no idea that he was perfectly fine. It had all started 6 months ago when he was involved in a minor car accident. Though the accident wasn't serious, he had come up with an idea to fake his disability. Joel had spent years surrounded by people who only cared about his money. Women threw themselves at him, not because they loved him, but because they wanted a piece of his fortune. Even his so-called friends were only interested in partying and spending his wealth. He wanted to see who truly cared. And so, he let the world believe he was crippled. He moved back into the family mansion, away from public events, away from gold diggers. Only a few people knew the truth. His best friend, Liam, and his trusted bodyguard, Mark. Liam had tried to talk him out of it. "Joel, this is crazy. You can't just pretend to be crippled. What if someone finds out?" Joel had laughed. "That's the whole point. If they find out and stay, then I know they truly care about me. If they leave, then they were never real." "And what about your mother?" Liam had asked. "She's already treating you like a burden." Joel had shrugged. "Let her. Maybe now she'll realize money isn't everything." Now, as he sat in his wheelchair, one he only used when others were around, he wondered if his plan was working. He had successfully driven away the women who only wanted his money. His mother had become more distant, seeing him as an embarrassment. But then, there was Amanda. Joel had noticed her from the first day she started working in the mansion. She was different. Unlike the other maids who either feared or admired his wealth, Amanda treated him like a human being. She wasn't disgusted by his so-called disability, nor did she pity him. And for some strange reason, he found himself drawn to her. Mark entered the room and cleared his throat. "Your mother is looking for you. She says it's urgent." Joel sighed. That woman always has something urgent to say. Let's get this over with. As he wheeled himself into the grand living room, he had no idea that his mother was about to drop a bombshell that would change his life forever. Mrs. Parker sat regally on the couch, her sharp eyes watching Amanda, who stood nervously in front of her. Amanda's hands were clasped tightly together, her heart pounding. She already knew that when Mrs. Parker summoned her like this, it was never for anything good. "You will marry my son," Mrs. Parker said coldly, her voice leaving no room for argument. Amanda's eyes widened. "What? I?" "There is no discussion," Mrs. Parker interrupted, waving her hand dismissively. You have lived in this house, eaten my food, and earned a living under my roof. Now it's time to repay that favor. My son needs a wife. And you are the perfect choice. Amanda's lips trembled. But, why me? Mrs. Parker leaned forward, her sharp nails tapping against the glass table. Because you are obedient. Because I know you won't challenge my authority. I don't need some arrogant socialite running this house. I need someone who knows their place. Tears burned Amanda's eyes, but she forced herself to stay strong. I don't have a choice, do I? Mrs. Parker smirked. No, you don't. Either you marry him, or you leave this house with nothing. Amanda's heart ached. She had no family, no savings, nowhere to go. She had worked in this house for years, enduring Mrs. Parker's cruelty because she had no other options. And now, she was being forced into a marriage with a man who, according to rumors, was bitter and crippled. Swallowing her fear, she whispered, I'll do it. The wedding was simple. There were no guests except for a few of Mrs. Parker's closest friends, who whispered and sneered at Amanda. She stood stiffly beside Joel, who was seated in his wheelchair, his expression unreadable. He barely looked at her throughout the ceremony. As the officiant declared them husband and wife, Amanda felt nothing but dread. Afterward, they returned to the mansion, where Amanda was shown to their shared bedroom. She hesitated at the door, glancing at Joel, who was watching her with a smirk. You don't have to act like a devoted wife, he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Just do your job, and we'll both survive this arrangement. Amanda clenched her fists. I never asked for this marriage either. But I'll do my part. Joel chuckled. Good. Then let's get one thing clear. I don't need your pity. Keep your tears to yourself. Amanda swallowed the lump in her throat and turned away. This was her reality now. Life as Joel's wife was exhausting. He was demanding, moody, and took pleasure in making her life difficult. Amanda, I need my pillows fluffed every 10 minutes, he ordered one evening. She frowned. Every 10 minutes. Yes, doctor's orders, he said with a smirk. Another time, he pretended to fall out of his wheelchair, making Amanda rush to help him. As soon as she reached him, he grinned. Just testing your reflexes. You passed. She groaned. You are impossible. But Amanda didn't complain. She continued caring for him, bringing his meals, adjusting his blankets, and massaging his legs. Tasks he exaggerated just to annoy her. One evening, as she prepared to leave the room, Joel called out, Amanda, my legs are sore. Massage them. She sighed, sitting beside him. All right. As her hands moved over his legs, Joel felt a strange warmth. He had expected her to be rough or reluctant, but her touch was gentle. Why are you so kind to me? He asked suddenly. She shrugged. Because you deserve kindness, Joel. No matter what. Something in his heart shifted. He was falling for her. But how could he tell her the truth now? Days turned into weeks, and Amanda slowly started seeing Joel differently. He was still demanding and sarcastic, but she noticed other sides of him, his sharp wit, his rare moments of kindness, and his deep intelligence. One evening, as she brought him dinner, he smirked. You know, for someone forced into marriage, you're doing a decent job as a wife. Amanda rolled her eyes. Oh, what a great compliment. I'm honored. Joel chuckled. I'm just saying, you're different. You don't try to impress me like other women. You don't treat me like I'm broken. Amanda paused. Because you're not broken, Joel. Being in a wheelchair doesn't define you. For a moment, Joel was speechless. He had spent months pretending to be crippled, expecting pity, resentment, or indifference. But Amanda's words struck something deep inside him. Another day, they sat outside in the garden, enjoying the cool evening air. Amanda leaned back in her chair, stretching her arms. You know, I used to dream of a fairy tale love story. Joel raised an eyebrow. And this isn't it? A grumpy, supposedly crippled billionaire husband? A wicked mother-in-law? Sounds romantic to me. Amanda laughed. Oh, absolutely. Just missing a dragon and a magic sword. They both laughed, and for the first time, Amanda saw warmth in Joel's eyes. Something was changing between them. But the moment was soon ruined when Joel, as usual, pushed her patience too far. Amanda, fetch me some water. And make sure it's exactly 20 degrees. She narrowed her eyes. Are you serious? Of course. I'm a delicate man, you see. Amanda grabbed a glass of water and, without thinking, threw it right at his face. What the? Joel exclaimed, lifting his hands instinctively to block the splash. Amanda froze. Joel had just reacted, without hesitation. No struggling. No delay. Their eyes locked. She gasped. You caught that. Joel quickly slumped back into his chair, forcing his legs into a stiff position. A reflex. Muscle memory. Amanda frowned but let it go. You're ridiculous. She walked away, but doubt had started creeping into her mind. Amanda hadn't stopped thinking about that moment. Something about Joel's reaction didn't sit right with her. Then, one evening, as she walked past his study, she overheard voices. Liam's voice, Joel's best friend. Man, you've got to tell her the truth. She's going to find out eventually. Joel sighed. I know. But what if she hates me? What if she thinks I played with her feelings? Amanda's heart pounded. Liam scoffed. Well, you did play with her feelings. She thinks you're crippled. Meanwhile, you're walking around perfectly fine when no one's watching. Amanda's breath hitched. Her worst fear had come true. She shoved the door open. You lied to me. Joel turned pale. Amanda, wait, I can explain. Explain what? That this was all a game. That you sat there, pretending to be helpless while making me run around for you. I trusted you. Joel stood, for the first time in front of her, with no wheelchair, no act. Amanda, please. But she had seen enough. She turned and ran out of the room, her heart shattered. Joel chased after her. Amanda, don't go. I never meant to hurt you. She stopped at the front door, tears streaming down her face. You made me fall in love with a lie. And now, I don't know what was real. And with that, she walked away, leaving Joel staring after her, his heart breaking for the first time in his life. Joel had never felt this kind of pain before. He had lost business deals, had people betray him, but losing Amanda was different. It was unbearable. For days, he tried calling her, texting her, even sending gifts. Nothing worked. She refused to see him. Liam sighed, watching Joel pace in frustration. You really messed up, man. If you love her, do something big. Joel's eyes lit up. Big. You're right. If words won't bring her back, I'll show her how much she means to me. The next evening, Amanda, still heartbroken, sat in a cafe scrolling through her phone when the TV caught her attention. A news anchor was speaking excitedly. Breaking news. Billionaire Joel Parker has just made the most shocking public confession. Let's go live. Amanda's eyes widened as the screen changed, showing Joel standing on a stage, microphone in hand, surrounded by a crowd. Amanda, Joel began, his voice steady but full of emotion. I know you're watching, and I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need you to hear this. Amanda's heart raced. Joel continued, I was a fool, a coward. I pretended to be crippled to test people, but instead, I ended up testing the one person who truly loved me. And I failed you. People in the crowd murmured, some sighing in sympathy. So, I'm here, in front of everyone, to tell the world, I love you, Amanda. And to prove it, I've bought the deed to your dream bakery. It's yours now, because you deserve to have your dreams come true, just like you made me believe in love again. Amanda gasped. She had always wanted to open her own bakery, but she never had the money. Joel held up a key. This is for you. But even if you never forgive me, even if you never want to see me again, I want you to have this. Because love isn't about what I want, it's about what you deserve. Tears filled Amanda's eyes. He had truly gone all out for her. But was it enough? A week later, Joel was sulking in his office when his assistant rushed in. Sir, Amanda is here. Joel jumped up so fast he nearly tripped. Amanda. Let her in. Amanda entered, her arms crossed, trying to hide her smile. So, you think you can just buy my love with a bakery? Joel swallowed nervously. No. But did it work? She chuckled. You made me suffer, Joel. Now it's your turn. His eyes widened. Oh no, what does that mean? It means, she said, stepping closer, that you're going to make it up to me every single day. And I will not go easy on you. Joel grinned. As long as it means you're staying. Amanda smirked. We'll see. A month later, they had a grand wedding redo. This time, Amanda wore the dress she truly wanted, and the love between them was real. Guests were shocked, especially Mrs. Parker, who now had to accept Amanda as her powerful daughter-in-law. During the reception, Joel turned to look for Amanda, only to find her sitting in a wheelchair, smirking at him. His jaw dropped. What are you doing? Amanda sighed dramatically. Oh, my legs. I think I'm suddenly crippled. Can you carry me, dear husband? The crowd burst into laughter as Joel groaned, scooping her up in his arms. You're going to be the death of me, woman. She kissed his cheek. But you love me. Yeah, he admitted, smiling. I really do. And with that, their love story truly began. Please don't forget to hit the like button, comment and subscribe to get more interesting stories like this.